Hello, my creative friends. I'm Heather North from heatherscreativeblessings.com. It is release week for the new Stamp of Approval Candy Cane Lane collection, and today is my blog hop day. So this is my card for the blog hop. I'll have more information on that later, but I want to share with you this Playful Christmas tree with some inlaid die cutting and some ombre stamping. So to start out, for this wonky Christmas tree, I did some experimenting, and I encourage you to do the same. I just played with some different ink colors and layering them together. With this wonky Christmas tree, what you have is a solid image background stamp, and then you've got all of these patterns to stamp on top. So the pattern, or the color, sorry, on the bottom, that solid image, is going to be your lighter color. And I suggest using colors that either complement and blend really well together, because remember, it's going to be layered on top. So whatever ink you put on top is going to blend with the ink on the bottom. The other thing you can do is just use lighter shades of the same color. So what I did here is I stamped off. I inked it up in Cucumber Crush ink from Stampin' Up. Then I stamped off on my scrap paper before stamping onto my cardstock. I'm going to do the same thing with my next color. Sorry about that, my phone. With my next color, which is purple from My Favorite Things. So I inked it up, and then I stamped it off on my scrap paper, and then stamped it directly onto my cardstock. I'm going to stamp all of the background colors first and let them dry back before I stamp on top of them with my darker colors. Now my next two colors ended up being too light. I used Sea Glass from Simon Says Stamp, and then I used Cotton Candy from My Favorite Things. I love this pink. It's my favorite pink, and I've used it so much that I had to end up buying a re-inker because it was almost dry. But it ended up being too light. I'll show you that in just a second. So now I'm going to take that Cucumber Crush again and stamp on full strength on top of that stamped off piece. I'm going to do the same thing with this Lavender Fields. And you can see that the image does, or yeah, I guess it's the image. The image does pop, and you can see it because it's darker. Now here I was trying to think, was I using Bermuda Bay or was it Pacific Point? And then I was like, oh, I used Bermuda Bay on the bottom and Pacific Point on top. I didn't use Sea Glass. Oh boy. See, it's experimenting and it's fun. The cotton candy, I used Real Red, and that, as you can see, the cotton candy was just too light. So I came in with a ripe raspberry. And then I stamped a few of the bows to fill in some of these spaces, and then I'll go back with my Real Red and stamp on top of the ripe raspberry. This is a great little tip for you. If you're going to be die cutting anyways and you've got space on your scrap paper, might as well stamp a few of the images, and you'll have extras, little bows and hearts and stars, things like that. It's kind of fun. So one thing I didn't put on here, but I did do, was I stamped Daffodil Delight star, and I die cut it out. And then I also die cut, this is the Merry Label die, and it has embossing as well as the die cutting. It's hard to see in the camera, in the video, but it's just amazing. I love it. And I'm going to do an inlay die cutting technique. So I'm just going to die cut the joy out of the bottom, and you see it there through the magic of YouTube. And I need to keep all the little pieces, which I did on a little piece of Post-it note tape. I also die cut the joy out of Real Red cardstock from Stampin' Up. Now for the inlaid die cut technique, what I do is I just take a piece of Post-it note tape and put it on the back side of that joy die cut. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this Ranger Multi-Matte Medium Glue. It dries clear and matte. And then I'm going to place my red sentiment right in there. You can see me doing that. And then I'm going to take the little tiny pieces, the white pieces that I cut out of that label to begin with, and I'm just going to fill it in. I think that this is just a nice touch, which just adds that finishing classy look. I used a little pokey tool here, pokey tool to get my littlest pieces into place. Whatever works, right? And then I'm going to use my misti to line up the sentiment, because at this point I did not want to have to do it again. And with the misti, the stamp positioner, I can get it perfect every time. So I'm taking the Merry and Bright bows, and there's several different sentiments in here, including one that just says Christmas. So I'm going to take the Christmas, and it fits perfectly above the Joy. And I'm just going to ink it up with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink and stamp it down. Now for the background, this background stamp is, I love it. I love the dual stripes, and I can use this all year long, not just for Christmas. But it is red rubber, and so I removed the cushion that comes with the misti, and then I'm taking just a little bit of tape on that grid paper, and I'm using my finger to get some of the tackiness off, and then I'm going to put my paper, my cardstock on top, and then position the background stamp on top of that. Then I use a positioner to pick it up. I'm just cleaning it here, make sure it's nice and clean. I'm going to be using 3 different colors. I started with real red on the bottom, and then I used that cotton candy on top. And like I said, it was almost dried out, but it works. In the middle, I used the ripe raspberry ink, and I just kind of blended up into that cotton candy, and I stamped it down. And then I'm going to go back in and repeat this process to make sure I get everything nice and smooth. It might take 2 or 3 times, it might not. Oh, that only took 2. I just love that ombre look, and by using the same colors that I did with my tree, it all kind of blends together. So there's a little tiny stick, or a little tiny rectangle, that's for the base of my tree. I decided to do it in yellow because I've also got yellow on the top with the star. I thought it just would kind of tie together. I don't know if it did, but I don't know. It works fine, right? I cut my ombre piece down to 4 by 5 1/4, and then I layered it onto a piece of real red cardstock that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then I layered it onto my card base. And now I'm going to layer my tree. What I did was I took a dimensional and put it full dimensional on the base of the tree, and then I cut my dimensionals in half and just put it on the top portion of the next layers. The bottom part will layer on top of the piece that's already there, and so it works out, and it has even dimension all the way up my tree. For the star on top, I'm just going to use a little bit of that multi-matte medium, and I'm going to glue it to the tip of the tree at an angle so it looks like the tree curves just a little bit to the left. Then I'll add some dimensionals to the back of my label, and my card will be done. As I mentioned earlier, this card is part of the blog hop. My day is today, so if you're watching on YouTube, you'll want to head on over to my blog and leave a comment for your chance to win one of the collections Catherine is giving away. Now, actually, Catherine is doing 3 days worth of blog hops and giving away 3 different cards. So when you go to her blog, check them all out. See what the rest of the design team has come up with, because they are so talented. And you're just going to be blown away by all the different ideas. And then leave your comments for your best chance to win. You'll also want to be sure and check out my blog all week long, because I have all of my cards using this collection. I had so much fun playing with it, and I am ready for Christmas now. If you like my card today, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel to see more videos from me. I can't wait to see what you guys do when you get this fun, festive, playful collection in your hot little hands. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.